Hello everybody, welcome back to BrickVault. Thanks for joining. We're back today with a brand new mock to join our web store. In front of me are a couple of builds that you might recognize if you're a Star Wars fan.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
And might have seen just recently in cinemas in Star Wars Episode 3. We have General Grievous's Wheel Bike, or in longer, more formal designation, the Smoi 6 personal wheel bike. I have absolutely no idea how that's pronounced, to be honest, and I'm pretty sure that's not due to me being German. And of course we have the female Varactyl that Obi-Wan rides, named Boga. These builds are both in minifig scale, although I have to admit that the Varactyl came out to be a little on the bigger side to get all these details into the head. It's still minifig scale, but more to scale to the width of a minifig instead of the height. The shots in the movie don't really show these two side by side properly to determine the size relation, but it looks pretty alright to me. These models were designed by myself on 4 full days of design work without doing literally anything else, just constant hyperfocus for a couple of days, but I had the best time designing these and am really happy with the results. If you want to get the instructions for these to build them for yourself, you can find them on BrickVault.toys. That way you support us and the designers we work with. In this case it's myself too, so thank you to you if you're considering to build these. We haven't gotten a Varactyl build from LEGO in 20 years, and the last wheel bike is also 11 years old, so we are definitely keen for an update at some point, so I thought I'd just do it myself. Ever since I saw the Varactyl mock by Swan Dutchman, I wanted to give this creature my own spin. This really inspired me to get started, but I want to make clear that I intentionally built up the model from the ground up myself without looking at any LEGO mocks for reference, just the official pics of the creature. I have to say though, I spent hours upon hours to find pieces that could work for the feather-like appearance of the head and the line down the center, and I can see why Swan Dutchman went with these leaf pieces, because these are actually the only pieces that look like feathers that are available in these colors, together with the tooth piece. I tried to find alternatives, but just nothing works here, and I think this is just the perfect combination of pieces for this purpose. I added these relatively new fern pieces on the head too, because I just saw the potential here, and I think these work so well here. This headdress reminds me so much of some of the traditional Brazilian headdresses seen on Carnival. I'm sure George Lucas drew inspiration from that, and probably also from the look of the Dilophosaurus. The head was probably by far the most tedious and complex part to design. Getting all these different shapes in there and having it look like a face without being too cute or goofy looking. I experimented a lot with different shapes for the bone-like thing on the head, but none wanted to work since I also wanted to use the beak piece and these horn pieces for the mouth. There just wasn't enough space to fit any other 10 pieces that look like the shape in universe because of the way all the other pieces are connected, and the selection of 10 bone-like pieces isn't the biggest, so I'm happy with how it came out here. I also integrated the brown headband and added these 2 dark green claw pieces for extra detail. The model has almost 600 pieces and is around $60 to $100 to build. As you see it here, it's closer to 100 because it uses a couple of pieces on the underside that are fairly rare and expensive, but I thought they fit perfectly for the underbelly of the Varactyl. But of course I also want to make this build a bit more affordable and available to you guys, so there is also a version available that goes for a build-up approach on the underside. That one's quite a bit cheaper. The model has a Technic skeleton going through the whole body, and the head and neck parts are connected with ball joints. This makes the whole build feel really sturdy. However, the ball joints here have fairly limited articulation because I wanted to close up as many gaps as possible here. The legs and feet are also on ball joints and have a lot more articulation. The tail is also on ball joints and can be moved into all kinds of positions. I think this default one looks really dynamic, so I will be displaying it like this personally, but if you wanted to straighten it out, that's also possible of course. On top we have the saddle for Obi-Wan to sit. The saddle is placed on a piece of cloth in universe that I tried to recreate here using dark orange, and I think think that works really well. These flexible pieces connect to a chest plate, which was fun to figure out. But let's continue to Grievous's wheel bike. This build has a little more than 200 pieces, even though it's so small, and the pieces will set you back around 30 to maybe 40 USD. I initially thought the quarter Technic gear lift arm would be a good part to use to make the wheel, but I quickly found that it was way too big to be minifig scale. So I went with a wing piece with Technic axle holes on two sides. These actually have the perfect diameter. I lined them with cheese slopes in flat silver and minifig hands in dark bluish grey, and that makes for a really good wheel, I think. The seat is constructed to fit the Grievous minifig perfectly. For that you have to take off the handle to properly sit him, and then you can reattach it and he's nestled in there perfectly without falling out. He even has this trans purple control thingy that you see in the movie as well. In the front you can see that I even was able to fit the headlight in here that is also present on the movie version. It just uses a clear bottle piece, the perfect piece for this purpose. On the back we have this weird protrusion that looks like a handle in my opinion. Maybe it's some sort of bumper in universe, I have no idea. If you know my builds, you know that I love putting functions into even the smallest builds, and this time I managed to put a small gear assembly in here that lets you rotate all 4 legs back simultaneously. It's a little tricky to handle just because of the way this model is constructed in universe, but it's possible to fold all 4 legs back. The gears also help to hold the legs in place when they're folded out into standing position. The legs have a couple of points of articulation, but my main goal was to make it as sturdy as possible because most models of this vehicle I see out there use clips or ball joints, and I'm just not happy with the handleability of these in real life. With this build you can handle it however you like without any of the legs moving too much or breaking. On the other side we have a couple of cannons that are built using cleaver pieces. I think it looks best in its walking version next to the Varactyl. But what do you think? Which build do you like more and what is your favorite detail? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to see all the techniques I used to construct these, which I made sure to be very interesting as I love this myself when building MOCs, feel free to get the instructions yourself on BrickVault.toys or via the first link in the video description. Thank you guys for watching, super stoked to have these out. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one on BrickVault.